Wilson, and I'm a Senior Manager of Learning and Development with Scotiabank and been with the bank for 10 years now.
Thank you. Jennifer.
And my name is Jennifer McCrae, and I'm Senior Manager for our iLEAD learning programs, and I have been with Scotiabank for 3 years now.
Hi everyone, Curricula, Head of Operations at TAM. I've been with TAM 3 years.
I just told you guys that I'm Head of Production and Technology. No, but I'm Peter Sicard, Head of Production and Technology, as well as partner and founder at Tuesday Afternoon Media.
Hi, I'm Dion Sauer, Director Global Learning, and I've been with Scotiabank for 13 years.
Raja C, and I've been with Tuesday Afternoon Media as a learning experience designer for 4 years now.
I'm Gabriel Arroyave. I'm the Global Learning Director for iLEAD Leadership Learning Experiences at Scotiabank. I have been with the bank for 5 years now, and I'm a learning and talent management professional for 12 years now.
Okay, we were pleased to receive 2 awards for Standard of Achievement in Designing Curricula and Design Learning Experiences. Overall, there were 80 people involved in this project from the Scotiabank side and more from the TAM side as well. And we had team members from Design and Development, Learning Solutions, and Facilitation, as well as subject matter experts from across HR. 3 main reasons why this project is award-worthy. The program really aims to enable people managers with the knowledge, skills, and resources they need to facilitate high-performing teams. This is an entirely virtual offering that can be consumed at any time from any location. It's available in 3 languages to all 15,000 people managers globally at Scotiabank. The program consists of 10 modules, and each module has at least 1 video, e-learning, and select topics also have virtual classes. We've also curated resources for each module and made them all available in a one-stop shop online. The program really aims to provide a flexible experience that helps people managers fit learning around their schedule, meaning you don't have to take the modules in any order, and managers are encouraged to prioritize the topics and content based on their unique development needs and support them in the moment when they're completing manager-related tasks. The programs had really strong results. 92% stated that they have a high level of confidence in their skills as a people manager after completing the program, compared to 55% prior to completing the program. And 85% of the participants felt that the program helped improve their performance as people managers.
Now, what were the conditions at work that prompted you to kind of design this and develop and ensure that this project is in place?
Yeah, so the idea really came from an internal audit that happened a couple years ago, and really that audit identified the opportunity to enhance our existing people manager practices. So using design thinking, a cross-functional team of 10 individuals at the bank spent 5 days really understanding the problem, brainstorming ideas, and then building and testing a solution that focused on day-to-day responsibilities related to people managers and enabling high performance. The outcome included the recommendation to create people manager essentials and ultimately address how we can build people manager capability, number 1. Number 2, how we can increase new people managers' speed to competency. Number 3, how we can provide easy access to comprehensive management tools and resources. And finally, enable teams to really be performance focused. And the intent with this program is that it will be one touch point in a larger journey that will improve people manager performance at the bank.
Right now, did you encounter any challenges along the way, and how did you overcome them?
No challenges. Smooth sailing.
Really? I believe that.
I'm going to let my TAM partners, I think, comment on this one, and maybe Jen McCrae too.
Go for it.
Sure, I can start. In terms of timing, like most assignments, especially this magnitude, it was a lot to fit in a short period. Not a challenge that we're I guess, unfamiliar with, but what made it great, I guess, in our ability to achieve it as a team was a strong collaboration and the partnership between the working team. And it was a big team. Making it globally relevant. So Jen mentioned earlier, this was something that applied globally within Scotia in 3 different languages. And so that was a challenge to make sure that it was consistent across the board, yet globally relevant. And so in some cases, we had to zoom out in terms of the lessons to make sure that they would speak to every learner. And then finally, the large group of stakeholders, that made it a bit of a challenge. But again, everybody worked together quite well to arrive at the final product. What was also really challenging, because I guess this went on some time, is that some of these groups had their own initiatives and making their own philosophy changes on the fly. And so that posed some challenges. Not sure if, Raj, you have anything else to add?
No, Kurt, I think you're spot on with everything you said. I think, with that large group of stakeholders is, keeping consistent SME engagement, subject matter engagement and alignment, and the buy-in from them was something, when you've got such a wide group of them across the board, keeping them all focused on our central message. And I think it's something, with our so much help from our Scotia partners, we were able to do well.
Thank you. Is the program still running up to now?
Yes, I can comment on that and just add, in terms of any of the challenges that we may have had, they've certainly been captured well in terms of timeline and scope and a large group of people to work with. Some of the other roadblocks, I guess, that we came up against were some technology challenges that we had as we were implementing a lot of virtual delivery. And that was something that in a large organization is difficult to kind of find that right platform. So those presented some challenges. And then, also just looking at our facilitation team that did the delivery of our virtual classes, making sure they were upskilled and had the skills to be able to really deliver a virtual experience that was going to capture the intent and the design of the program. And so that was something that we also wanted to ensure was completed. Just that ability to pivot so quickly. The program, I know, Robin, you asked if it's still running. It is. We implemented the full scale solution, rolled out in a couple of phases. And, I can say that, yes, it's still very much a part of our people manager experience and learning. And it's continued to just gain traction throughout this past year. And I think we've really put a great solution forward that people can access anytime.
That's wonderful. Now, was there a shift that you needed to potentially do because of the pandemic?
We were really fortunate. I think we had some type of ESP, really, because the intent when Jen and the rest of the working team and TAM began this project was to have it be virtual and digital. And as we rolled everything out and the pandemic struck in March, we were already very well on our way to a virtual solution that we could deliver globally. So that was great timing on all of our parts. And we were able to just smoothly transition and have things available and accessible right away for our people managers when we were all put into BCP, which was difficult for organizations across the world, I'm sure, to have a virtual offer that was actually intended to be virtual rather than made virtual because of necessity.
Right. That's great. See, that's good to have that ESP moving forward. You never know what happens. Now, I'm sure others who are watching this video would be interested in kind of figuring out, okay, is there a way for us to leverage what we just learned from what we heard? And what would be your suggestions to especially the newbies coming into the field, right? And try to kind of gain some traction in their own work environments so that they can be similarly successful.
I'd love to start that just so from our perspective, one of the things that we, I guess, observed is the clear very principle-driven focus and vision that there was. I mean, the example that Jim McCrae just mentioned around this being virtual right from the get-go, it was because, I guess, an opportunity or the ability to scale up and really serve more people. And so we stuck to that, and it allowed us to deliver something that even later on you could add more topics if you had to. So I think that's really, really important, and it allowed us to achieve what we did while sticking to the original plan.
One of the key things is having senior leader commitment to the program, as well as making sure you engage the right stakeholders to be part of it. You need the buy-in and you need commitment from across the stakeholders. For this project, we actually had about 80 stakeholders involved in creating the content, thinking through how it would be delivered. So I think that's a critical piece in this program.
That you're facilitating.
Exactly.
From a production standpoint, one of the things that was interesting for us is we went and we looked for always like precedent, like how else has this design been implemented in the past. And even from a visual standpoint, when creating a product like this, we looked at things like Netflix and how to present the information in a way that's really consumable, that also meets our learner and our audience where they're at. And so we use those things and then redesign those to work with our purposes. So instead of going on from a white canvas as to how to build or how to create and visualize this, we were also just looking around saying, what's out there that where people have already solved this? And if you're taking precedent like Netflix or something like that, there's a lot of investment that went into those designs and those solutions. And so it's just kind of now catapulting or building upon that and then moving it forward to what we need to use it for.
Right.
Robin, I think the other thing that made us successful or contributed to our success was having the opportunity to involve the users from day one. So in that 5-day design sprint session that I spoke about, there were people managers involved in testing those prototypes that were built as part of that sprint. And we were also able to phase out the implementation of the program. So we could pilot an initial phase again with our learners and get their feedback and incorporate that feedback when we did the second phase of implementation later on last year. And so I think that also allowed us to, continue to have the learner top of mind and really put the user at the center of everything we were doing.
What are your learnings from previous submissions that now will, if you think about it, go, you know what, we need to just adjust it just a little bit so that we're ready for that next submission?
The award criteria is obviously aligned with creating great learning solutions, right? It's best practices from the industry. It's always a good reminder to sort of start with the end in mind. So I think that's what we would do. And it's something that could apply to any organization really going through this.
Other thoughts? Thank you.
I think the partnership was really critical. Right from, as Jen said, engaging learners right from the very beginning, having really good stakeholder partnerships and management, as well as the partnership that we've had with Tuesday Afternoon Media. I mean, it's been a really important strategic partnership for us. I mean, we're continuing to do work with Tuesday Afternoon Media because of the success in the partnership and the collaboration that exists. And I think that that's another really important, an important point in moving forward.
Great. Any other final thoughts?
One really quickly for me, I think focusing on gaps and making sure that we always meet learners where they're at. I think when you're working with this much content, and I'm sure the Scotia team would agree, this much content among this many various fields or areas of expertise for a people manager is making sure that we're always addressing needs within the context of learner constraints, and curating our sources for learning and making sure that we're focusing on things that matter to people managers. I think one of the most proud moments I think that I had within this program was actually when I was leading a virtual session during our pilot period, and we were working on some learner scenarios, and one of the learners actually said, I literally just dealt with this the other day and I wasn't sure what to do. And that made me realize, you know what, we're on the right track. We're focusing our efforts in the right way, and just to continue doing that, focusing on what's real to learners, throughout any project that we do from now on, and really know what's happening on the ground is one way you're always, going to find success.
For the future, I think one of the biggest challenge, and also one of the opportunities I discovered working in this program and through iLEAD People Manager Essentials is how can we establish a solution, a learning solution that can be flexible enough to build on and to keep relevance in time. And with our partners in Tuesday Afternoon Media, and also with our internal subject matter experts, we were able to build that solution that was flexible from the beginning. So it will continue to evolve, and it's not one and go. We will continue to iterate in this journey.
That's
And
wonderful.
building with that in mind is great.
From an instructional or learning experience design level, definitely want to thank Wendy Sinclair, who was very strongly involved in the project and did a lot of work with the instructional pieces around content.
I think some folks to call out from the Scotia side, certainly as Kathy Cargill, our Chief Learning Officer, who, as Dion mentioned earlier, that senior leadership commitment is really key and important. I would also indicate Jane Duffy, who really supported a lot of our change management, communication, and engagement. Junia Freitas, who really helped us with the metrics. I think that's another important call out at the beginning of this project, was to really understand what impact were we trying to see, how are we going to measure it, how are we going to report on it, and she certainly really helped us with that part of things. And then we had a couple of facilitators too who really worked alongside with Tuesday Afternoon Media when we were doing our early prototypes and our early pilots, and really diving into some of the virtual delivery. So Kevin Smith and Roberto Lopez really helped us out with that.
I'd like to say a quick word. I'd like to recognize and thank Jan Wilson for leading this. It was a massive effort, and she brought it all together. And, I really recognize that she spearheaded the work and is the pioneer of the program, and led us all down this path. So thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Dion. And I know on the TAM side as well, on the Scotia side, we had excellent project management support. As you can imagine, with over 30 assets in 3 languages, it was a lot to track. And so to our project manager on the Scotia side, Lymaris Delolio, she was an exceptional team member.
Thank you.
And thanks, Jen. And yeah, just a few more from the TAM side. I know Peter mentioned Wendy, who did some wonderful work from the learning experience design side. Just from the production side, I know we had Kim Tabat and Christine Tabat, Jordan Maitland, Diane Aruaya, and Denver Rodriguez, and Sereny Blacklock, and JJ Wong. These are all people I'm mentioning who worked in such an agile and incredible way to make sure our assets were delivered on time, but more importantly, delivered with the quality that we needed. From our quality assurance standpoint, Clinton Buja and Daryl Hassan, a gentleman named Graham Maitland who helmed the ship in terms of managing that production team, and from our end doing the project management work. Jen mentioned Lymaris, and her best friend on the TAM side, I think, was Shagufta Wahid, who, the two of them made sure that everything was done timely and efficiently. And again, just from myself, Jen, you mentioned your facilitation team at Scotia. It was an absolute pleasure to work alongside them, both Roberto and Kevin, and the rest of the team that we worked to upskill to get them to facilitate these virtual sessions in what I honestly think is an incredible way. They've done great work. So just a few more thank yous from us.
And
Anyone else? Go ahead.
sorry, I'm going to add a couple more. Just a general thank you to Tam. I think it was a complex project. Corrado was a strong partner right from the beginning, and he really helped lead us through. He had so many meetings with our stakeholders, and was very patient, listened, and really helped guide us through it. So thank you. And Raj, you were involved, in so many aspects, but on the virtual facilitation, like that was an invaluable role you played there, in addition to all the other things that you did. It was fantastic. So thank you for that. And overall, you've mentioned many of the TAM partners, and everyone played a key role, but the two of you, I just want to call that out.